If you've been diagnosed with a chronic illness and they're telling you it's going to be this way the rest of your life, you don't have to accept it. As soon as you buy into it, your brain starts to feel threatened. You start to envision your future with this illness. You start to feel unwell, and it makes you sicker just to even buy into this illness. I know you want a name for your symptoms. I know you want to be able to identify with something because you just don't understand what's happening. But the reality is identifying with a label is only going to go ahead and have you associate your symptoms with the prognosis and your future with the prognosis. And that's not good. That's threatening. That's difficult on the nervous system. That's just not what you want if you want to recover from illness. Instead, you gotta believe that that's just an opinion, okay? When people give you a diagnosis, it's just an opinion, okay? One doctor may give you one diagnosis, another may give you another one. You may realize at the end when you're better from all these things like me that none of them were actually even true. I didn't have fibromyalgia, I didn't have PTSD, I didn't have these IBS symptoms, I didn't have all these things that I was labeled with, right? I ended up having food sensitivities, I had mold sensitivity, I had issues dealing with past trauma, I had counterproductive and intrusive thoughts, I had a lack of faith in God, I had these things. But the reality was, as soon as I bought into the condition, if I would buy into that condition, I had fibromyalgia, I'd still be sick today. I'd still be dealing with muscle pains. I'd just be using fibromyalgia as my explanation for why I feel the way. Oh, why don't you feel well today? Oh, it's my fibromyalgia. It's my this, it's my that. It's out of my control, right? As soon as I say it's out of my control, I lose control, right? The reality is it's in your control if you believe it's in your control. If you have a chronic illness, you have to investigate what you're eating. Okay, this is your nuts, your seeds, your dairy, your gluten, your eggs, your processed food, too much meat, all these things cause issues that can mimic chronic illness symptoms. Next thing, what you're inhaling, mycotoxins, mold toxins, there's bacteria issues, there's chemical issues in homes, there's all kind of issues in homes that can make you sicker. Typically it's mycotoxins, mold toxins. The last one is what we're thinking in our past trauma, the things in the past we haven't dealt with. That we look back on and still shed tears about without being able to go through. Those things still affect you. They're still sitting in your subconscious. They're still affecting the way you look at life. They're coloring the lenses you're looking through, that past trauma of yours. So unless you reframe your past trauma, you change your diet, you get out of the house that's moldy, then you're gonna have to identify with this diagnosis. You're gonna have to say, oh, I believe it's fibromyalgia, because you'd be unwilling to make any changes, right? If you wanna make changes, you wanna get over a condition, you gotta be willing to look at things differently. You got to be willing to look at them differently than the doctors. You got to be willing to look at it from perspective that the body is meant to be well, and there's always something preventing it from being well. And the only thing that's causing your symptoms is your own immune system. Your own mast cells are the reason that you're having symptoms. It's not because of condition XYZ. It's because your mast cells are aggravated by something we're consuming, inhaling, thinking on a regular basis, something we're doing on a regular basis. It's aggravating the immune system. It's reinforcing the symptoms, and it's keeping you stuck in a loop. This is what I experienced. I went through chronic illness for 15 years. I tried hundreds of thousands of dollars of supplements. I got hundreds and hundreds of IVs. I, did a 77-day liquid fast. I've done everything you could possibly think of related to trying to get better. And the reality was, it all came back to the three things, like I've said before. It's what I'm eating, what I'm inhaling, what I'm thinking or doing. Those things all come together and they manifest in the form of symptoms. If I'm not thinking anything that's problematic and I'm always happy, I'm looking forward to great things, if I'm eating things that aren't triggering me, if I'm living in a house that doesn't have mold, I'm spending a lot of outdoor time, getting sun time, getting physical activity, have a low stress life, guess what? Most of the time symptoms don't exist. So thanks for watching. Go to my website, endsickness.org. I get hundreds of articles and videos on there with novel approaches to how to help yourself overcome these chronic conditions. Thanks for watching.